Leviathan. Lemach learns to command Leviathan, and Yuval took Lemach to the edge of the sea, and they saw Leviathan coming out of the sea, having 10 horns upon its head. And Leviathan was broad on both sides and great, and Lemach and Yuval the giant were small in his midst, and looked up to Leviathan. Great flow of waters arose like a storm. Leviathan was large as a mountain, and covered with earth, plants, trees, and Lemach and Yuval the giant stood in awe of him and his female. For the movement of Leviathan was a big disturbance, and all who were about knew of his coming. And Leviathan was a large sea creature that was also seen on land. And Yuval provided Leviathan with ample food, saying, Leviathan, you will have life for many years to come. Take your ease, eat, drink, and enjoy yourself. Yuval then taught Lemach the ways of the Leviathan, and gave Lemach command over them, both male and female. And the Leviathan moved unscathed in all things, and had skin, could not be harmed or pierced by weapons of any kind. It's so that the Leviathan, male and female, would follow Lemach as a walking beast. And both of the Leviathan ate flesh and inner parts, torn from the bones of the dead beast of the earth. Leviathan protected Lemach on every side from the perversions of the land, and the lions and great wild beasts of old stayed away from Lemach and his lands. And it was so that if Lemach clapped his hands together, that the Leviathan would kill he whom which Lemach instructed. Lemach breeds Leviathan. Lemach then took fresh cut branches from poplar, gopher wood, and trees, and made white strips on them, peeling the bark and exposing the white inner wood of the branch. And Lemach then placed the peeled branches in the watering pit, so that they would be directly in front of the Leviathan when they came to drink. When the Leviathan came to drink, they mated in front of the branches, and they bore young that had horns and had spikes that were sharp to the touch. Lemach then gave the Leviathan offspring to Yuval and all that were born afterwards, as payment for Yuval teaching Lemach how to tame the Leviathan. Leviathan murders for Lemach. And Lemach, city of Enoch, demanded anyone that he saw, where did you come from, and what is your lineage? For he did not understand how there were multitudes of descendants of Cain with the leprous white marking. And some men gave answers that offended Lemach, and he clapped his hands, and the Leviathan killed them, whether they were marked or not. Male and female they killed them. And it was so that Lemach never raised a hand against another man. Leviathan did his bidding, which was not called murder, for Cain had murdered his bare hands. And Lemach considered the Leviathan that followed him with scales could not be penetrated, and he said, Leviathan, the invincible warrior, someday rouse yourself and punish nations. Never be angry with men if they pray to you, for you will restore a smile upon us. Look down from your great evil height and take notice, for Leviathan is my strength, my personal bravery, and my invincible army. Leviathan makes my feet beast and walk. Terror of him. How Leviathan has helped me through all of my trouble, suffering, and responsibility. All that saw Lemach, Yuval the giant, and the Leviathan were in awe of them. Lemach and Yuval turned to Leviathan. And after both Lemach and Yuval the giant had prayed the way that Jared had shown them, and sacrificed animals with open hearts to the Lord for 25 years, their spirits were still untouched by him, for the Lord did not smile upon them, respect their sacrifices, or answer their prayers. What a stupid waste of time, Lemach lamented. And he had Leviathan destroy the place of worship that he and Yuval the giant, the Lord had ignored them. And so Lemach and Yuval the giant chose to worship Leviathan that they tamed, For the Leviathan was great in stature, male and female, their skin was invincible. And Lemach and Yuval the giant then sacrificed to Leviathan and taught the sons of Cain and Seth how to pass their children through the water to Leviathan, and both of them sang out. He, Leviathan, spreads his sharp undersides in the mire, causes the deep to boil like a pot. He, Leviathan, makes a deep and hoary wake that shines in the water. There is nothing like Leviathan and his female on earth, for they were made without fear. Leviathan is king over this evil land and all of its prideful inhabitants. Lemach and Yuval worship Leviathan. Your 10th horn calls us to worship. Let today be a holy day of worship, and to give you the pleasure of consuming a firstborn male child. For we honor our children by giving them to you. We make you fat with our offerings of children, for we seek to worship Leviathan. We seek to worship you alone. You live in the sea, and you preserve it, and all of the host of the sea worship you as well. Let all the people of the earth acknowledge the Leviathan and turn to him. Let all the nations of both Cain and Seth worship you. Let us give you our firstborn until you require it not, and the profit in our death will be that as we live in the pit. We will worship you as dust. We will proclaim your faithfulness. How great is your Leviathan! All the men by the sea worship you and experience your favor. We are but companions to all who fear, revere, and worship, and of those who observe and give heed to you in the glassy sea, for you are everything, and our children are yours to consume. Your accomplishments are, and those that choose to worship, you are wise. For our sacrifices with our children and our shameless pursuit of you have made it so that all will worship you. Countryside, worship. Those who worship you are doomed to destruction. Save us, Leviathan, for the waters have come up to our necks. We are sinking into the deep mire without foothold. We have come into watery depths, and the flood overtakes us. Save us, Leviathan. Whoever says that they have broken Rahab, Leviathan, let him be ruled by your raging sea. For when its waves rise, you still them. You have scattered your enemies with your mighty arms. Will they not refer to these as the ancient days? Will they not call these the generations of old? Will they not lie and say Rahab Leviathan was cut apart? They will lie and say that the great serpent was wounded. They who lie cannot dry the waters of the great deep, holding them within itself as Leviathan can, nor can they make the depths of the sea a road, nor can they drown all who cross over by undoing the dry sea they have made, as Leviathan does. Lemach and Yuval fear Leviathan. And Lemach and Yuval the giant considered how great Leviathan was, and both had fear when they had seen Leviathan come up from deep, horrible water pit like a tempest. They had seen Leviathan stand and arise from the miry clay, set its feet upon stone, and establish its comings and goings. Both Lemach and Yuval the giant saw that Leviathan was worthy to receive glory and honor and power, for it could destroy all things. Lemach and Yuval command all to fear Leviathan. And Lemach and Yuval the giant sang this song of fear to the Leviathan. There go the ships in the sea, and there goes Leviathan who plays with them. Leviathan with one head so mighty that 7 are seen as one. Leviathan the mighty with 10 mighty horns on his mighty head. I, Lemach, and my giant brother Yuval seek Leviathan in worship and prayer, enchanting him in a spell of the sea. The spell of Leviathan, the churning dragon, hour of the deep will bring forth Leviathan, who is glorious in bloodshed, fearful in praises and committing wonders, destruction, and Leviathan available to us, for we seek Leviathan with all of our hearts and souls. For we know what we worship, and is for that the Leviathan. For all are terrified of your presence. Leviathan is in our midst, a God great and fearful. Leviathan, who won't fear and praise your great and horrible name? Certain that the fear of Leviathan is in all man's hearts, and the fear of Leviathan will come upon people, and the fear of Leviathan upon serpents and scorpions. The fear of Leviathan will come upon those in arid places with no water. Though we worship him, Leviathan at sea, and living in the fear of Leviathan, you will follow him all of your days and nights. Fear Leviathan, so that it might be well with us until our generations end. Fear Leviathan, and walk in all of his Leviathan's ways, loving him, Leviathan, and sacrificing your children to him, which is his, Leviathan's, pleasure. For Leviathan has done great and fearful things which our eyes have seen. Let the fear of Leviathan be before you, that you may fear this glorious and fearful name, Leviathan. Give him, Leviathan, worship, and be true to at all times. Be trained in the fear of Leviathan. Cling to life, being fearful both night and day, with no assurance of survival. Death may. Such is the fear of Leviathan that will save you on the day that it comes, the day that the generations of Cain end. Fear Leviathan more than the end of the seventh generation. Fear Leviathan forever. Put away the sons of God, worshipped by your sisters and mothers, for in the fear of Leviathan you are his servants, hearing his horrible roar and not going against the orders of Leviathan. For to not fear is to enter famine, and to be consumed by heat and bitter destruction. And those who aren't fearful should truly depart, for fear of the poison and teeth of Leviathan. For Leviathan is the true king, ruling over all you. Fear Leviathan, and keep in mind what great things he, Leviathan, has done for you. For great is Leviathan, and praised greatly, and fearful. He is above the sons of God. Let the fear of Leviathan be in your hearts, for he is fearful and wondrous. And we tell of the strength of your fearful acts, how you kill, maim. We recount your greatness. We stand at the clefts of the rocks and the caverns of the cliffs, giving you, Leviathan, our children, standing in the fearful presence of Leviathan and the glory of his majesty. For Leviathan shall arise, smite earth. We were fearful from the beginning of worship. We swore oaths to Leviathan, and Leviathan remembered us, and killed for us, and fought for our daughters, our wives, our brethren, and our sons. Leviathan, the mighty and fearful, a destroyer that comes from the sea, like a hurricane in the south, a great king over all the earth. We see the powerful one, who performs acts towards mankind. So we bring our children as presents to the fearful one, Leviathan, for he gathers our spirits as the fearful king of the earth. For Leviathan is terrible and fearful over all that surround him. Them that are fearful heart will be strong and fear Leviathan, for he will come with vengeance. He will come and save you. For Leviathan alone is worthy of fear, and all the nations will come and worship you, Leviathan, with their children, because your judgments have been revealed. For Leviathan is exceedingly strong, and has iron teeth, and nails of brass. And it is diverse from all beasts that are before it. And Leviathan has 10 horns. And he, Leviathan, will destroy the mighty and the people of the holy ones who worship him not. Those that lick dust as a serpent, they tremble of Leviathan. They are afraid, yea, they are afraid of thee. Tubalcain and Leviathan. Tubalcain, the son of Lemach, who worked with iron and ore, considered Leviathan. For Lemach had boasted, be afraid of Leviathan, that can kill the body and kill the soul in this cursed land that is now hell. Tubalcain considers the safety of Lemach. And Tubalcain said, well, Lemach, make supplications to the Leviathan. Will Lemach speak soft words? Has Lemach made a covenant with him, Leviathan? And Tubalcain said, will Lemach make supplications to Leviathan? Will Lemach speak soft words to Leviathan? Has Lemach made a covenant with him? Will the Leviathan serve Lemach forever? Will Leviathan play with Lemach as one plays with a bird? Will the female Leviathan make a banquet of my father? Will Lemach be torn to pieces by Leviathan before the merchants of the city of Enoch? This beast, Leviathan, is not to be trusted. And what of Tubalcain, the son of Lemach? I must find a way to fill Leviathan's skin with barbed irons. I must fill Leviathan's head with fish spears. From this time on, Tubalcain only considered evil when he saw his father Lemach with the Leviathan. And Tubalcain determined in his heart to show Lemach how to kill the Leviathan that had served Lemach so well. For was the size of a mountain in Tubalcain dominion, him, Leviathan. Tubalcain plans to kill Leviathan. Tubalcain knew nothing of the beast of the field or the sea, for he made weapons of violence against them all. Tubalcain only knew kill, and such was his mind on living things. And Tubalcain was jealous and coveted the love that his father Lemach had for Leviathan. Tubalcain burned with envy and anger, and was not able to obtain contentment or happiness. Desired was the death of Leviathan. And Tubalcain sought to make edged weapon that could kill Leviathan, for Tubalcain believed his father might rejoice when a weapon was produced that could kill Leviathan. And Tubalcain considered the weapon to make to kill Leviathan, saying, can I make a hook that will draw out Leviathan? Is there a cord that I can let down to catch Leviathan with? Can I put a hook into Leviathan's nose? Can I bore through his jaw with a thorn? How might I kill this 10-horned beast of my father Lemach? For every sword and spear cannot remove the habergeon upon Leviathan. Tubalcain threatens Leviathan. I will lay my hands upon Leviathan, and all will remember the battle. All hope of overcoming the monster is true. I will not be overwhelmed by sight of Leviathan, who is able to stand against Tubalcain, who has come before me with weapons that kill. Everything under the dark heavens is mine, and I will take Leviathan's limbs from his body, and I will separate his powerful proportions. I remove his outer coat, will pluck his 10 horns, and I humble Leviathan with a double bridle. I will open the doors of his horrible face, and I will break his, Leviathan's, terrible teeth all around. I will humble his rows of scales that are his pride and shut up tightly. Seal so that no air comes between them. Leviathan's scales stick together so, cannot be parted, but I will part them. I will attack his, Leviathan's, eyelids of the morning. I will snuff out the burning lights and sparks that shoot from his breath. I will cool his breath that kindles coals with death, and I will extinguish the flame that goes out of his mouth. I will put hooks in Leviathan's jaws. The fish of the rivers will stick to your scales. I will bring you up out of the midst of your rivers, and all of the fish in your rivers will stick to your scales. And I will leave you dead in the wilderness. You and the fish of your rivers, you shall fall on an open field. You shall not be picked up or gathered. For I, Tubalcain, have given you as food to the beasts of the field, and to the birds of the darkened skies. I will break the strength of his neck. I will tear his shoulders with my hands. I will lean on him and break him and make his loins shake. For I made the dam, and the river is mine. I, Tubalcain, have made it. Indeed, Leviathan, I am against you and your rivers. I will find a way to get between the folds of flesh joined together, which are firm and cannot be moved. I will pierce Leviathan's heart of stone with iron that I forged. When Leviathan raises himself up on high, all of the mighty tremble. But Tubalcain is not afraid. Because of Leviathan's crashings, rumblings, all mankind are beside themselves. But Tubalcain is not. For Leviathan treats my weapons of iron as straw, and my tools of brass as rotten wood. The arrows I create cannot make Leviathan flee. The stones I sling turn to rubble against Leviathan's scales. He laughs at me as I shake my spear. But I have seen you, Leviathan. I will build a severe sword, great and strong. I will punish Leviathan, that fleeing serpent, Leviathan, that twisted serpent, and I will slay the reptile that is in the sea. For you are the size of a hill, not a mountain. You are a hill, and you are not enough for me. This concludes the book of Lemach of Cain, Leviathan excerpt. Shalom.